You want to know what war leaves behind? Not medals, not stories, but remains. The memories you can't wash off. The guilt you carry home. Armitage built my voice from soldiers like me, men interviewed for his collection of poems called The Not Dead. Men shaken by a war that was controversial. A war launched on sensationalized claims. A war where no weapons were found. A war where civilians died while we thought we were doing right. Now I'm home, but the war didn't stay there. Look at the poem. 4-line stanzas, neat, controlled, until the end. The last stanza breaks into a couplet, a structural fragmentation that mirrors my breaking psyche. Every stanza filled with irregular line lengths, mirroring my struggle to stay composed while the trauma spills out of me in jagged, uncontrolled patterns. I see every round as it rips through his life. I see broad daylight on the other side. I start with anaphora. I see, because that's all I do now. See, again and again. The memories replay in first person, in present tense, as if the shooting is still happening. That's how PTSD works. Nothing fades, nothing leaves. The verb see becomes a symbol of haunting recollection, a reminder that the event isn't past, it's current inside my head. Then the violence sharpens. Every round, monosyllables, harsh consonants, the alliterative R in round and rips, the plosive P in rips. Each sound mimics the staccato shots of machine gun fire, capturing the brutal rhythm of combat. And rip, a loaded verb, a moment of personification. The bullets act as if they choose violence. And maybe that's the point. Maybe making the bullet the agent is my way of removing myself from blame. A euphemism, a coping mechanism, pretending I didn't kill him. The bullet did. But the truth? Every bullet that rips through his life, ripped through mine as well. A double wound. Then comes the image that never leaves me. I see broad daylight through the hole we put in him. Light, a symbol usually linked to hope, truth, purity, here becomes grotesque. A twisted beam shining through a man who's no longer alive. And that phrase, on the other side, that's the distance between me and hope now. Hope exists, but I can't reach it. Not anymore. End of story, except not really. His blood shadow stays on the street. I pretend it's simple. End of story. A line delivered with colloquialism. A facade of someone brushing it off. But then, Volta. Except not really. The casual tone cracks, revealing everything underneath. The trauma, the guilt, the story that refuses to end. This is where the psychology of the monologue shifts. I'd been talking like a soldier, controlled, blunt, but here the mask slips. Blood shadow, a compound noun, small but devastating. On one level, it's literal, the blood stain baked into the street, a permanent mark, a physical trace of violence. But metaphorically, it's everything I can't escape. A shadow of him on my conscience. A darkness cast over my life. A memory burned into my mind. And maybe even a dehumanization. Reducing the looter to a shadow because that's the only way I can cope. And this wasn't some battlefield. Not trenches. Not desert dunes. Just a street. A place where families live, children play, people walk to work. War invading civilian spaces turns normal life into scenes of destruction. But detail like that makes one thing clear. This wasn't the only street. This wasn't the only body. This wasn't the only shadow. And still, I tell myself the story is over. but his shadow follows me everywhere I go. He's here in my head when I close my eyes, dug in behind enemy lines, his bloody life in my bloody hands. This is the truth. He's here, in my head, not a memory, a presence. The present tense shows he hasn't left. Not even when I close my eyes, especially then. The alliterative H in he's here, head, creates a sound like heavy breathing, a panic response, a physical symptom of trauma. This passage flows across enjambment, as if the pain can't be contained by line breaks. Trauma spills over everything. Then comes the military phrase, dug in behind enemy lines. A powerful metaphor. He's not my enemy, but my mind has turned him into one, embedding him deep inside like a soldier entrenched and unmoving. It raises the question, who is the real enemy now? The looter? My memories? War itself? Even while I'm home on leave, I speak in military terminology, proof that I can't detach from the battlefield. The war has infiltrated my identity. I'm not home. I'm still there. And then, his bloody life in my bloody hands. The repetition of bloody carries a double meaning. Literal blood, his life spilled at my feet, and the British expletive, my self-disgust, my guilt, my damnation. I can't separate him from me. His life, my action, my hands. I didn't walk away from that street. Part of me is still lying there beside him. If you want your grade 9, you need to know how our stories connect. Go watch the poetry comparison videos. Learn how Remains speaks to exposure, to bayonet charge, to every soldier carrying the war home.